sound of a gentle breeze, perhaps distant, faint palace sounds. Have you ever had one of those dreams? The kind that sticks with you all day. A weird, vivid movie that plays over and over in your head, and you just can't shake the feeling that it means something. Well, imagine you're not just anyone. You're Pharaoh, the most powerful man in the world, and you have two of those dreams back to back in one night. That's exactly where we find the ruler of Egypt in Genesis chapter 41. His first dream? He's standing by the Nile River, and out of the water come 7 beautiful fat cows. They're just chilling, grazing in the reeds. It's a picture of prosperity, but then right behind them, 7 more cows emerge from the same river, and these are ugly, gaunt, so thin and sickly they barely look like cows at all. And then the craziest thing happens. The 7 ugly, skinny cows completely devour the 7 fat, healthy ones. And here's the kicker. After eating them, they're still just as ugly and skinny as before. It's like the meal never even happened. Pharaoh wakes up, heart pounding. What was that? He manages to fall back asleep, only to be thrown into another dream. This time he sees a single stalk of grain, and on it 7 heads of grain sprout up, healthy and full of life. Perfect harvest. But then right after them, 7 more heads of grain sprout. These are thin, withered, and scorched by the hot east wind. And just like before, the 7 thin, blighted heads of grain swallow up the 7 full, healthy heads. Pharaoh wakes up for good this time, and he is deeply troubled. This wasn't just a random nightmare. He knows it deep in his gut. So he does what any king would do. He summons all the wise men, all the magicians, all the so-called dream interpreters in the entire kingdom of Egypt. He lays it all out for them. The fat cows, the skinny cows, the healthy grain, the withered grain. He's desperate for an answer. But it's silence. Not a single one of them can tell him what it means. The most powerful man on earth is surrounded by the smartest people in his kingdom, and they are all completely stumped. The frustration in that palace must have been electric. It's in this moment of total desperation that a forgotten memory sparks in the mind of the chief cupbearer. Remember him? The one who was in prison with Joseph 2 years earlier. He suddenly remembers the young Hebrew slave who correctly interpreted his dream, and the baker's dream. He speaks up, a little sheepishly. "Your Majesty, I remember my faults today." He tells Pharaoh all about Joseph. So Pharaoh doesn't hesitate. He sends his guards. They rush to the dungeon, pull Joseph out, shave him, give him clean clothes, and rush him into the throne room. Can you imagine the scene? Joseph, who went to sleep a prisoner, is now standing before the most powerful man in the world. Pharaoh looks at him and says, "I've had a dream and no one can interpret it. But I've heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it." And Joseph's response here is so key. He doesn't say, "You bet I'm the best." He says, "It is not in me. God will give Pharaoh a favorable answer." He immediately gives all the credit to God. Pharaoh recounts the dreams, and as soon as he's finished, Joseph speaks with absolute certainty. Pharaoh's dreams are one and the same, he says. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. He explains. The 7 good cows and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. And the 7 ugly cows and the 7 empty heads of grain are also 7 years. They are 7 years of famine. Look, there will come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. But after them will arise 7 years of famine, and all the plenty will be forgotten. The famine will be so severe it will consume the land. The interpretation is stunningly clear. But Joseph doesn't stop there. He's not just a dreamer, he's a man of action and wisdom. He continues, "So now let Pharaoh look for a man who is discerning and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let him appoint officials to take 1/5 of the harvest during the 7 plentiful years and store it up. This food will be a reserve for the 7 years of famine, so that the land won't perish." The plan is brilliant. It's practical. It's exactly what needed to be heard. And Pharaoh and all his officials are blown away. Pharaoh looks around at his stumped advisors and then back at this young Hebrew man and says, "Can we find anyone like this, a man in whom is the Spirit of God?" And then turning to Joseph, he makes a decision that changes the course of history. "Since God has shown you all this, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. Only in regard to the throne will I be greater than you." In a single day, Joseph goes from a prisoner in a dungeon to the prime minister of Egypt, second in command of the entire nation. Pharaoh gives him his signet ring, fine linen clothes, a gold chain, and a new Egyptian name. The boy who was sold into slavery by his brothers, forgotten in a prison cell, is now raised to a position of unimaginable power. All because he held on to his faith and God gave him a gift, not for his own glory but to save a nation. It's a breathtaking reversal of fortune, a powerful reminder that no matter how deep the pit, it's never too deep for a divine promotion.